Hey there, welcome to Goblin Girl Studio. Today I'm going to take some useless wire, plumber's epoxy, magnets, and embroidery floss and finally turn them into what you've all been asking for, a pathetic posable little beetle in a sweater. Of course, the first thing that we gotta do is figure out the vibe. So this beetle is actually supposed to be the pet of my conspiracy theorist mole that I made in my last video, and if you didn't see that one, it's fine, you don't have to watch all my videos, but here's what you need to know. The only being that he loves and trusts implicitly is his beloved pet beetle who is constantly trying to escape. So we're going for like a basement dweller bachelor conspiracy theorist and his tiny shivering anxiety-riddled dog that he treats like a princess, except that dog is a bug and it doesn't give two rips about him. I did some bug research trying to find the exact right kind of beetle to base her on, but I got tired and I just decided to make her a mishmash because who cares? Sorry, entomologists. I still want this to look like a realistic beetle though, so I'm just gonna start off by tracing a photo of a June bug. Is this legal? Will I go to design jail? Will I go to regular jail? Okay, now to make her look pathetic though, I think that she obviously needs a little sweater that she's been forced into. And since she's always trying to scuttle away, maybe a little cast on her foot from her last escape attempt. For the colors, I don't know, I'm still figuring it out. I'm not really into these, so I think I'll just see where the inspiration takes me. Now, let's start building. First, I'm cutting out 3 pieces of these interlocking brass tubes to serve as the mounts for the little replaceable bug legs. I figure I'm going to have to make the legs with wire, and that could be fragile if bent and unbent a lot, so I want to be able to replace them really easily if they break. And then I gotta stick all the bigger ones permanently in place with some 5-minute epoxy putty. I think this will give me a good sturdy base to start out with. But then, for the thorax, yes, of course I looked up beetle anatomy before I made this critter, and definitely not after while editing the video. I wanted a little bit more time to get the right shape, so I switched to Magic Sculpt, which is basically the same thing as epoxy putty, but takes about an hour to harden. After I've roughed out the general shape of the thorax and the Magic Sculpt isn't quite as soft, I pull out a magnet and embed it into the front. I'll do the same for the back of the head, and this way the beetle's head will stick onto her body and be able to easily turn left and right. I add some little ridges to the sides of her, and once I feel satisfied with her shape, I let the Magic Sculpt cure and fully harden. Because 2 kinds of clay aren't enough, I'm switching over to Sculpey because I think my Magic Sculpt has gotten kind of old and it's hardening a lot faster than I can sculpt it. Okay, so now that I got you locked in on this craft, I wanted to say a quick thanks to everyone who watched my first video last month. I've just been doing these projects alone in my apartment for the past year or so and feeling too anxious about social media to post them publicly anywhere, so the only way anyone could really see what I was working on was to come over to my apartment and see it all 3D in person in front of them. Which in a way is kind of special these days, but also I guess the projects felt kind of incomplete without an audience. So anyway, all that to say, it was really nice to share something with you, and thanks for being here. A little rubbing alcohol helps me smooth out the clay for that nice exoskeleton finish. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's a little too smooth, so let's grab my partner's toothbrush and use it to make some ridges down the back of the shell. I think it's looking good, so let's bake it. Once that's out of the oven and cooled down, I can start on the underside. This side is pretty simple too. I just cover the surface in clay and make the general turd shape that I apparently want for this character. Okay, so classic me, basically all of this is going to be covered by a sweater, but I still feel like I need to detail this all out to the best of my ability because, well, maybe someday I might want to take the sweater off for some reason I don't know. And then I wonder why all my projects take so long. But I'm feeling pretty good about the bottom half, so let's throw that into the oven. Lastly, I throw a little more Sculpey on the thorax to add in some final details, and then let's just pop her in the oven and pull her out so we can move on to making 6 sassy little bug legs. First, I have to cut out some thinner brass tubes that will go on the ends of the legs and then fit into the wider tubes that are on the body. I'm using steel wire as the base for these legs, and I'm bending over a little nub at the end to give it some more meat to grip into the square tubes. Then I use my schematic as a reference to bend the wire into the right shape and length to cut out the piece. Then I do this 5 more times. And then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get the epoxy to stick to the legs and not just spin around the wires like an exotic dancer on a pole. My best guess at a solution is to make little bends in the wire in the center area where the epoxy will go to kind of grab onto the epoxy, and I'm hoping that'll be enough. I guess we'll see because I'm too lazy to do a test. To get these little legs to stick into the brass tubes, I'm going to use liquid epoxy, which is pretty fumey, and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in the city with no outdoor space, but I've committed to being a safer crafter, so I drove 45 minutes to my mother-in-law's house to our shared craft shed to glue these 6 little pieces. And then I drove home. Oh my god, safety is so lame. Next, I can start bulking out the meat of the beetle's legs. Is it meat? Do beetles have meat? Anyway, I'm starting out by just getting some epoxy putty around the wires and not really worrying about the shape. Epoxy doesn't really stick to wires very well, and the more I touch it, the more it just wants to twist around and fall off. So I'm just trying to get enough on there to use as a base later after it cures. I make sure to get no epoxy on the knee and the ankle joints, or else it won't be able to bend at all. After I let that cure, I can start trying to get the shapes I want from the leg segments with Magic Sculpt. This gives me a little bit more time to get the legs looking just right, and I can smooth it all out with water so she has that nice exoskeleton finish. The feet are kind of tricky though, because they're so delicate on a real beetle. Mine look so chunky, but I feel like this is just one of those things that I gotta accept I don't have the ability to do much smaller. Oh, and I almost forgot to give her a little cast on her leg, but that's easily added. I just get the rough shape in because I'm gonna cover it up with fabric strips later. I tested putting the legs in the leg holes off camera and it all works, but I forgot to film it, so I guess that means that this whole thing fit together is going to be a surprise. Now I'm going to make the little head. I wrap the body in saran wrap, then throw a magnet down over the one on the thorax. Then it gets an epoxy putty base, and after that cures, I can do some more serious sculpting with Magic Sculpt. I get the general shape and then squish in some beads for the eyes. And here's where I realized that I forgot the wires for the antenna. It would have been way better to put these in when I did the initial epoxy putty step, but too late. They'll be a little bit wiggly now, but that's fine. It's not like I was gonna try to animate her in stop motion or anything. I'm adding a little wormy of Magic Sculpt over her eyes to match her shell ridge, but I feel like it's making her look weirdly angry, and I'm trying to avoid her looking too sentient because then it would get kind of morally weird that she's a pet, so I finagle the clay until she looks as neutral as I can make her. A lot of the bugs I'm looking at for reference have these crazy detailed mouth pincer situations, but that's kind of a lot to sculpt and it would probably break off or look bad, so I'm simplifying here. I mean, in an ideal world, I think it would be the funniest if she just looked 100% like a realistic bug wearing a sweater, and I feel like maybe I could have achieved that by making a mold of a real dead beetle and then putting wires into that for legs, kind of like in my favorite silent film, The Cameraman's Revenge, featuring this bug booty call. But I don't know how to make molds, and my huge dead beetle dealer is out of town this week, so I'm just trying to remember the wisdom of my friend Courtney right now. If it's handmade, it should look handmade. All that dithering aside, now we've got a little beetle head, and I think she's pretty cute. Now let's paint this beetle. I thought that nail polish would give me that nice iridescent bug look, so I went to a beauty supply shop down the street to try to find the right color. This color was a contender, but maybe a little too red, and I like this one too, but I think it's a little too blue. I was looking at this one when a message went out over the intercom about people not recording in their stores, and I wasn't sure if it was about me, and I freaked out and I put my phone away. So now, back at home, here's the one that I went with. A nice green iridescent color, kind of like these beetles. First, I spray coated the body, head, and legs with Mr. Super Clear, then I base coated everything with a layer of black craft paint. With everything one color, now I can paint the body like painting my nails, which is to say poorly. I switched to a little detail brush to touch up all the little spots that I missed. Okay, so I've kind of established that the painting step is kind of self-explanatory, and I would take this time to let you listen to some new music that my partner made for this video, but he was kind of mad at me for using his toothbrush as a sculpting tool, so he told me to make my own goddamn music, so here it is. I covered the legs and underside with matte Mod Podge, which is actually shiny. I don't know who said this was matte, to get that sweaty beetle look. But I wanted the top iridescent part to be extra glossy, so I coated that and the eyes with a clear nail polish. Shiny. For the cast, I cut out little strips of this white muslin fabric and used fray check to secure the cut edges. From there, I'm just coating the cast with glue and then laying down the fabric strips, trying to overlap them in a way that looks nice. I coated it all in glue in the end, which I think helped give it that hardened cast look. With that, all the pieces are done and painted. All I have to do now is make a miniature scale 6-arm sweater out of embroidery floss from scratch. Easy! So I know how to crochet okay, and I've made lots of things based off of other people's patterns before, but I haven't done miniature crochet other than like a couple of granny squares, and I've never made my own patterns, so let's see how this goes. Oh man, this crochet hook is so small my camera can't even focus on it. I started by crocheting the collar, and then I realized it's been a while since I've crocheted and I don't totally remember how, so here's me trying to re-figure it out by using big sized yarn. Okay, got it. Back to the small yarn. If you know crochet and this makes any sense to you, I'm doing rows of 3 single crochets back loop only. Since each row of stitches grabs onto half of the previous stitch, this gives a ribbed collar look. But this time it didn't really look right, so I pulled it out and tried again. And I'm warning you right now that if you don't like watching people pull out stitches, close your eyes for the entire rest of this video. Who knows what I did different the second time, but it worked. So once I had a nice little strip, I stitched the edges together and did a fit test. I think it looks really cute. So now I just gotta make the entire rest of the sweater. And obviously this was the tricky spot because I needed to figure out how to make it look like a seamless sweater, but also leave gaps for the legs to go through. I'll spare you the details, but I'll just say that I made several attempts at this that had to be pulled apart before I finally figured out what to do. And I'm kind of embarrassed because I feel like any real crocheter would say this was just the obvious way to do it from the start. Crochet in the round using chain spaces to create gaps for the legs to go through, and then add the arm cuffs on top of that. So that's what I did, and I only pulled out all the stitches 1 or 2 more times. I just keep alternating 2 rows of pink and 2 rows of green, building in the gaps for the legs when needed. I also added in some increases as the body got bigger towards the back because this beetle's got a dumpy, and then some decreases after it reaches the apex. I mostly went by trying the sweater on the beetle over and over again and feeling it out. Since I feel like the whole point of crochet is that it's a craft that you can do on the couch or while you relax, I took my little chair up to the park and I did most of this process up there. After all the rows are complete, and I'm sure that the legs will fit in, I do another ribbed collar thing for the butt end of the sweater. And then, finally, all that's left are the little ribbed cuffs. These were a bit fiddly because they are so small, both in length and width, and I have to make 6 of them. Making more than 2 of anything is boring. But if you're a crocheter, you know that worse than making 6 of something is weaving in the ends of 6 somethings. But I made my bed, so I gotta lie in it. But with that, the sweater is done. I'm gonna throw the legs on or off camera, and then we are off to the reveal, featuring some music that my partner Jakey actually did make for this video. Oh, she's so cute and pathetic. I'm really happy with how she turned out, and extra happy with how quickly. My conspiracy theorist mold took like a month and a half to make, and this little girl took just 3 days. And then another 10 days to edit the video. I'm getting some serious appreciation for the craft tubers who post once a week, because like, how do they even do that? Let me know what you think of this little beetle in the comments, and drop any name suggestions you have for her. If you want to see more little critter videos like this and other cottagecore type crafts, please consider subscribing. Thanks to my partner Jakey for making all the music for this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time at Goblin Girl Studio.